Eben has started doing this. He's adding theme music to the beginnings of our restreams.
Yeah, sharp like the edge of the samurai sword. Meant to blade cut your flesh and bone. The world's out of order.
Oh, there's kill the. We have a severe delay. Is that what's happening?
Oh, there's a YouTube open somewhere. Hold on a second.
We have a severe delay. Is that what's happening?
Oh, where is it? There we go. Good?
There we go. See, we've been discussing this. Eben is enjoying this immensely. I'm feeling more grinchy in this particular case, and feeling like, the theme music. We don't need the theme music.
But I think, each collection feels like each storyline, just setting a little mood here. So this is the battle cry and the main theme from Samurai Champloo, which seemed like it was appropriate. So, next time we'll maybe throw a little Seven Samurai in there, but something samurai oriented as we're here to talk about Bushido.
Samurai related. No, that's fair. That's that. Oh yeah. No, it's very funny.
So actually, hello. We are here to talk about Bushidos. So let's get right into it. I think, very quickly, I always like to, if anyone's coming to this for the first time, Eben Matthews,
Adam Martin.
We are two of the co-founders of Macroverse. Macroverse is a next generation entertainment studio that is building worlds that we look at as the next generation of big entertainment franchises. And we're doing it in a bunch of really interesting and cool ways, most specifically, and in some ways most excitingly, in ways that fans and the community that we've been building can participate in some really unique and interesting parts of building these franchises. And so, we've been doing this for a couple of years now with our own projects, with other projects. And in the NFT world, we have a kind of mental model where each of the characters formerly known as PFPs, are actually characters in these entertainment franchises that we're building. And so the Bushidos is one of those. Adam, do you want to give kind of a quick summary of kind of what the world of Bushidos is for, those that are new, or perhaps even those that are holding Bushidos but may have missed out on a little of the world building that we've done here?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, this is something, obviously, a project we've been working with now for kind of a year and a half, I think. Amazing art, obviously, from Jeremy Booth that inspired the collection. And the original concept, when we first started talking, was this world of gateways and portals. It's a fantastic, kind of rich, diverse world with essentially this kind of interstellar portal that allowed access and instant travel and connection across the galaxy. And then, for some reason, that portal snapped shut and sealed off this world kind of indefinitely. And then a couple hundred years go by, and suddenly this portal cracked open again, and these blades came through it, and were able to be used by the inhabitants of this world. That was this kind of race of warriors called the Bushidos, who lived by the different samurai codes, were the very honorable and noble kind of protectors of peace in this on this planet. And so, that was the original concept. When the blades that came through, when the samurai committed seppuku with those, they became Ronin, which are these incredibly cool kind of mechanized warriors. And that was where we started. And so we worked with the community for a couple of months to really build out the lore. And I think we've got a kind of great backstory where actually the Bushidos were originally an invading force that had heard about this planet and kind of wanted to take over this planet because of its access to all these portals in order to kind of invade and colonize the rest of the galaxy. But having kind of arrived at this place via traditional ship, the Bushidos basically kind of fell in love with it, or just kind of became converted by the ethos of this planet and the kind of decentralized open worlds, access to all, and decided that they didn't want to kind of colonize it. They wanted to protect it. And so knowing that their overlords back on their original planet were eventually going to come and use the portal to invade, they essentially attacked. They shut the portals down. They were the ones that caused this initial kind of cataclysm. And in order to protect it, that's what they did. And then a couple of hundred years later, a dissident group, kind of loyalists on the planet Tour, that we're calling it, decided to reopen connection with their homeworld. And in doing so, these Daitos appeared, but it kind of shook the foundations of the world for a second time. And now elements within the Bushidos on the planet Tour know that there's an invasion coming, and so our story revolves around this kind of handful of young warriors, young Bushidos, and a Ronin, who decide to head off on this quest to reunite the clans, bring them back together to fight what they know is coming in the form of the invaders from their homeworld. So it's a great kind of sci-fi samurai story. It's been a blast to write. There's been a bunch of community work as well. These fantastic short stories written by the community that we've produced that are amazing. We are just getting colors in from episode 6 of an 8-season arc of the main story.
8 episodes.
And that leads us kind of into what we're talking about here today and what we want to be doing, which is a lot of kind of some fun, actually slightly weird retroactive, but I think is going to be very, very cool community tie-in to everything we built thus far.
So this was kind of a moment of like, duh, a couple of weeks ago where, we've been working in this process with Vogu, with the Wanderers, with other projects that are, their own worlds and universes, where we've allowed people, or invited people, really not allowed, but invited people who own these characters. Again, thinking of these as characters that you can own within these entertainment franchises, represented by the NFTs of those characters. And so if you own those characters, why would we not make those characters important in these larger series? Like, why would we not want to populate these stories with those characters? And so we had gone down this path of doing that in these anthology stories. And actually, Adam mentioned the Bushidos anthology stories, which are beautiful and very much, the stories of the set of those characters from the collection, from the community. There is another video where we give a pretty good preview of what those episodes look like, and they are beautiful. So go find that on the YouTube channel as well. But what we realized is that while we're moving forward into something like the main series with the Vogu and the main series with the Wanderers, and very much casting the main characters from the collection in that same way, we had not thought about doing that initially with Bushidos. And so we created our own main characters for this longer storyline. And we just realized a couple weeks ago, like, why would we not want to have those main characters also be represented by, characters in the collection? Why would we not want to create that same tie back to the community, to the people that, own and support this franchise and this collection? And so that's what we're doing here today, and are going to spend the next week doing with those that choose to participate, is to retroactively cast the main characters in the series. So this would be a little different and probably, kind of a one-off, because I think going forward, we're pretty established now in how this process works.
Yeah, we'll know what we're doing.
We'll know what we're doing.
We'll know the new path that we're forging here.
Exactly. So this is a chance to kind of travel back in time to the beginning of this process, and then find the characters in the collection that most closely fit the main characters in the series. And beyond that, there will be opportunities for side characters, for other characters that appear over the extended, version of the story. But essentially moving forward, we want, all of the characters that we use to be coming from the collection, coming from the community, and then being able to include, that whole part of it in how we build these worlds, how we build these franchises. So what does that look like, in practical terms? It means that after this live stream, we'll be putting up a Twitter thread on the Bushidos Twitter. So that is at Bushidos NFT on Twitter. And what we would like you to do is just submit your Bushidos and Ronin characters in that Twitter thread. In this case, we don't need backstory or personality or any of that stuff. You feel free to put it in there if you want to, because there may be opportunities to use some of those characters down the road. But very specifically, we want to cast the 4 leads, for this core storyline. And so we don't want to give you information about who those leads are necessarily, because we don't want you to be overly concerned with is your character the right character for those leads? Because again, we will try to find opportunities to utilize a wide cross section of these over time. But what we would like you to do is just, post your characters. And then in this particular case, Adam and I will go through and kind of make the selections to find ones that kind of match up with the general look and feel of the characters that we've established. So there's a little bit less, in this particular case, it's a little more of we want to find the right ones that fit the existing characters in the story, rather than basing the characters on the ones that are in the collection. And again, that's the kind of retrofit, piece of it here. But it just seemed like we had to close that loop and make this the way that we treat all these different universes. So again, practical terms, Twitter thread will go up, post all of your Bushidos and Ronin. We'll find the ones that we think most closely match. We will then be in touch with that person via most likely Twitter DMs initially, and then we'll move to email. We have a very standard licensing agreement, which we'll need to put in place with you to bring your characters into the story. There is some revenue participation in the product itself as these things go off into digital and print editions of the comics, and we can get into those details and through the licensing agreement. And so that will be the process for these Bushidos. Again, don't want you to prejudge, are they the right ones or not? Because we will, again, be looking for places to include more than just the main characters. And I think it's appropriate to announce here, some of you who know this collection know that there are, how do I put us both to the side? I want me off the main screen too. Come on. Just moving Adam around. I'm trying to show the background image, but it's not working. All right. So some of you know, if you can sneak peek the character who's peeking through the middle of the screen here, there are 8 dark Ronin called the Fallen in this universe. We will probably get to learn a little something about that in the main series. There's one in particular that is featured in the main series, and we just completed the licensing on that for that particular Fallen Ronin. So it'll be a very similar process in that now we know one of those 8 is pretty heavily featured in the series, and maybe we'll see a couple more as well.
We might just sneak him in there. Yes.
So that's the process. Adam, anything else you want to say about that or that I left out there?
No, I think that's it. The process is exactly that. I think the couple of things just to highlight are, one, this is because of the nature of this setup and because we know what these characters are, this is going to be us kind of going through and deciding this. Unfortunately, we won't get the kind of community voting aspect that we had before. However, we do want to be revisiting that side of things as well once we're kind of up and running and through this process, which is going to be cool. Secondly, just to reiterate on the license part of this whole thing, I'm sure those of you in the space will be up and running and familiar with what's happening with the SEC and impact theory and the other one, Stoner Cats. Thank you. I was just like, it's Moon Cats. No, it's not Moon Cats. It's not Stoner Cats.
There are Moon Cats.
I know there are Moon Cats. Yeah, it's great. But these essentially, they've been hammered because part of the conversation around the initial purchase was you will be participating in the profits of this whole thing, right? And the SEC were like, well, no, that's a problem because that's a security. We are approaching this differently, which is you own these characters. So if we were going to license this from you, as if you had a drawing of one of your Bushidos and we wanted to make plushies out of it or action figures or anything else, we would be licensing it from you in the same way as we're doing this. So that's exactly what we're doing. That's how we are avoiding any kind of issues with this. License agreement is very simple. We figured out what we think is actually a very fair kind of residual program, essentially, very much based on the actor's residual setup, as you would get as a if you were an actor in a TV show or a movie or anything else. Although obviously residuals is part of the issues that people are arguing about at the moment. So we will be hopefully non-studio E in that respect. But
we'll at least be more transparent about it. But
we'll be just exactly and I think that'll be the thing is it's pretty clear we know what we're doing with this. Again, avoiding these issues because of the way we're setting this up as a license agreement, I think makes it very clean and very safe and fun for people to participate in and for the community to benefit from. So yes, 100%. That's how we're going about this stuff.
100%. Good to clarify. So yes, just to I'm going to just say it in the most plain terms possible, which is we are making zero. We want to create zero expectations that there is any profit from just holding these NFTs. Like that is not the game that we're playing. The game that we are playing, which we think is a much more exciting game, quite frankly, is that we can collectively build these franchises into things that span comics, print, digital comics, print comics, all kinds of material that tells these stories. And that for the first time that I'm aware of, owning a character in this world that then gets cast as a character in these stories can be not only meaningful from a participation and kind of fun world building creative standpoint, but also allows us to generate revenue from the sale of those particular products and then return some residuals and royalties to the people that participated in helping to build those franchises that way. So very much a traditional mechanism brought to a innovative space, which is part of what I think is very exciting about it. So again, Twitter's thread will go up, cast your characters. We'll make an announcement next week of which ones are the ones that we're going to use as the main characters. And then Adam mentioned we're in episode 6 of 8 in production right now. Which does mean that, we will be looking for opportunities to include other characters, again, even in these last 2 episodes that are going into production now. So it's another good reason to just throw all of your Bushidos and Ronin into the thread. And then I thought,
see what sticks.
How could we talk about Bushidos and not give another kind of sneak peek at stuff that we haven't revealed yet? So if you've made it, to this point in the stream, I'm going to share a little bit of what the series actually looks like. I think this will be the first time that much of this has been seen. This is not in linear order, but we're going to start with the visual lore, which will be, I'm not going to take the time to kind of read through the whole thing because it's a pretty extensive rundown of kind of how the world works,
how this came together.
Components of it are. We created a framing device which ties into the first episode and into the series. So the Journals of Remembrance, is tied into the history of the world, and where the Bushidos came from. The main villain is introduced here, at least the initial main villain. How they have, kind of explored and expanded across the galaxy, their history of invading other planets, and kind of the mercilessness of the original Bushidos, the discovery of portals, and the mission that then creates for them to continue to expand across the universe. This kind of, Bushidos kind of start as this kind of dark invading force to some degree, where they're driven, kind of commanded to spread out and conquer other worlds. And then when they find themselves stuck, that might, kind of changes the dynamics a little bit. So they have to.
It's being kind of isolated from their overlords means they can suddenly start to think for themselves, and that results in rebellion and expansion of their perceptions.
Exactly. And so the choice is made by the Bushidos on tour, which is our kind of place that the adventure takes place here, to separate themselves, to cut off the portal to their home world, and therefore they think to allow them to kind of choose a new path. Little do they know that this will not last. And so this causes a great amount of upheaval, both on the planet and within the ranks of Bushidos and on the world itself, leading to the creation of these mechanical bodies, embodied Bushido spirits in these robotic mechanical bodies called Ronin. And then that leads directly into where episode 1 starts, with this upheaval event, this kind of cataclysmic event, which sets the whole storyline in motion. So shout out to the creative team. Nicholas Castell, who's doing the art on the series, has just been doing an incredible job with it. Also, shout out to the Bushidos community. All of this story was developed through about a 4 to 6 week process that we went through with the community, which was so much fun. Like, for those of you that may be watching this that participated in that process, like, we wouldn't have gotten to some of these ideas, which we love, without that storytelling process. So really, really excited about where we ended up here. And then for the first time, the full reveal of the one of the covers from the Epic editions that are coming for the Bushido series. This by an artist named Daniel Fernie. He's doing a Wanderer short. He's doing a Vogu short. You'll see quite a bit more from him, but his work is just absolutely stunning. He also did a Dead Town short. Shout out Tiny Universe. But yeah, first kind of full reveal of his cover art for this first season of the series, which I just absolutely love.
So it's funny because I associate some of the other the big covers that we've got more with this. So every time I see this, it's got such a kind of horror vibe to it in a weird way. Like it's so good. It's so good.
100%.
And yes, they are doing one of the Wanderers shorts, and I mean, Lady Valor, if you're listening.
Yes,
might be.
That's right. Very exciting. So wanted to show this kind of the big kind of spoiler alert here, and then I'm going to share a few pages from across the rest of the series. So these are not in order; these are pulled from different episodes, but just to show again some of the beautiful color work and action and staging that Nicholas.
Yes. We do want to be a little careful with this part of it because we don't want people to prejudge too strongly what their characters are going to be in.
Agreed. So don't assume who these characters are. That I think that is safe to say. But I just wanted to share a little bit of just the world, some of the staging. Just some gorgeous, incredible action. The vistas that we kind of move through in the series. So little sneak peek here, but the work that Nicholas is doing is just top notch. So
Really stunning.
could not be happier with the way that the series is coming out. So anyway, just wanted to share some vibes around all of that. I think, again, just could not be happier with the final product. And we're getting very close. We're, as we've said, we're getting to the end of episode 6 and moving into production on episode 7 and 8. And then all of this will be coming out on the Macroverse mobile app on iOS and Android right now. Go download it, jump in there. You're going to love it. There's so much great stuff there. On and on and on and on. Go get it. And then also in our kind of fully produced, it's kind of incredible epic editions that we're putting together that have, different levels of rarity and incredible cover art and more special features that will ultimately go into those editions, launching in the next 4 to 6 weeks is what it's looking like at this point. I've been uploading content like crazy to kind of get everything ready for launch on the back end. But Bushidos will be one of those launch titles. So those that get cast will be kind of immediately into that flow of
into that mix
on the different apps. So yeah, very excited to share a little additional sneak peeks there. If you want to keep up with what's happening with Bushidos, as well as all of the stuff that we're doing at Macroverse, the best place to do that is in our Discord. We share pretty frequent sneak peeks in a sneak peeks channel on the Discord. So you can see, bits and pieces as it comes in from all the different projects that we're working on. Bushidos will also gain some new powers and abilities once our platform launches here in the next little bit. So there'll be some additional fun things that you'll be able to do with your characters as that comes out. And I think that's kind of it. We can't wait to meet our cast.
Yes, I know. It's going to be very cool. So I think the idea will be, same time next week, we'll be making this announcement. So I think, let's say it's through Wednesday evening next week will be, time to get everything in. Evan and I will then put our heads together. We'll look at it all. We'll, look at what we've got and make the announcement. This time next week will be amazing.
And I think at that point we can reveal which Bushido is each of the kind of main characters. So we'll put together a little reveal of those characters, I think, at that point as well.
That's a great idea, and talk about who they are and a bit more about the story and some of that stuff. So
exactly. So learn a little bit more about the world and the story and who those characters are. I think would be perfect. And then I think the last thing to announce here is that I think we're going to take this slot, this Thursday at 10:30 PST, 1:30 EST, as a regular Macroverse update time. Yes. And so, we'll sometimes have specific things to talk about like this with Bushidos, or, maybe it'll be about Vogu or Koala Intelligence Agency or GSA or Deadtown or Hex 11 or Friends and Fiends or DMC.
Name your thing.
Name your project. We'll have some of these sessions which will be specific, and then we'll also make sure that we're giving updates kind of across all the different things that we're working on. So this will give us kind of one time, one place to kind of rally together, come together as a community. There will at times be opportunities to come in and join the conversation. Those are some of my favorites. So, we'll also be posting links where you can come in and we can talk live. But we just want to establish kind of a place and a time to make sure that we're communicating as much as we can about what's going on and give people a chance to ask questions and come and participate every time and in every way that you would want to. So look for this kind of as a standard slot going forward. And then final kind of Macroverse announcement at the moment is we are going to be doing a in Discord community event. Not tomorrow, on Sunday. So if you want to come for a more kind of intimate community conversation, catch up, hang out, vibes, ask us questions, give us feedback, like we want all of that. That'll be Sunday in the Macroverse Discord. So that is
11 a.m. Pacific.
11 a.m. Pacific, discord.gg/macroverse. So we hope we'll see as many of you there as possible.
Yes.
And I think that's it. So as always, yeah.
One thing just to add, tag on the end of this,
Yeah.
for KIA, for our koalas, our wallas,
Yes.
there we are, having done the kind of casting and the look through last week, we're actually meeting with an artist in a couple of hours time with a view to getting cranking on the shorts. So very, very directly want to start kind of getting stuff out there quickly, but again, pulling ideas, pulling characters from the community, and yeah, just wanted to give that quick update.
I mean, for all of these things, it won't be long now. Like there's been so much progress made over the past year. I can't wait for you all to start really being able to see it. So we're getting very close across all of these different projects, and there's a lot more new stuff spinning up as well. So I think, it's an endless in the best possible way cycle of great stuff coming at you. And I think, just to say it again, like our goal is to make every bit of this as community friendly, fandom friendly, opportunity for participation and reward for that participation, as in every way that we can. So, that starts with being a part of the community, and that's largely in Discord at the moment. So again, discord.gg/macroverse, go download the mobile app, get ready for the epic editions, cast your characters, and on from there. So Indeed. So I don't have a samurai theme to play us out with at the moment. So I'll just say, I don't know what should we need a Bushido saying? Like
we need like a, maybe that's something we could add as well.
Okay,
actually, let's do a separate thing. Like
that's it.
We need a Bushido's kind of saying, not a catchphrase, demeans it slightly, but like a statement. That rallies the clans.
Yeah. So like KIA, has Hug Life. I think doesn't have to necessarily be that kind of a thing, but yeah, we need a Bushido's battle cry. So as you post your characters, throw up any ideas for your Bushido's battle cry. We'd like to see that.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
All right.
Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the World Cup if that is your thing. I keep having to say that because I'm, slightly obsessed at the moment. But we'll be chatting again this time next week. Looking forward to it.
Perfect. All right, everybody, have a good day.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.